Hey familia, you're listening to Sip and Chisme, powered by Cafecito and Chisme, where we sip slow, talk real, and go deep. I'm Mond.
I'm Allie Rain, and we're about to get raw and unfiltered.
So let's pour up that cafecito and let's get into it.
You want me to talk about obedience?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
That's a nice book.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm excited.
All right. Welcome back, guys. We're so glad you're here for another episode of Cafecito Chisme. Today, we are diving into, or today's raw conversation is on something that we're not always used to talking about and something that's hard to do. So it's about obedience.
And today we're not doing it alone. We're here with a special guest, someone whom I truly, truly adore and love so much, and we deeply respect. It's Jon. Let's welcome Jon to our episode today.
Y'all ready?
Hey, Jon. How are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
We're so happy to have you here.
I'm
You
happy
are our
to be
first
here.
guest, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. I'm pretty sure. You've been here every episode.
Man, it's an honor. It's an honor to be the first guest, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get into
We're
this.
excited too.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you. So before we get into it, we have a question that's been sitting with us all. So have you ever felt torn between what you desire and what you know you've been called to do? That's just something for you guys to sit on as we dive into today's topic. About to get into the chisme that redeems. That's what it's called. All right, and since we have a guest, what's something that you were doing in disobedience that looked good on the outside, but was tearing you up on the inside?
I think that would be everything in the first part of my life. So I grew up in a household where it wasn't a basic situation or your standard situation. I would constantly see people come in and out of my house. There was always parties at my house. I just had a bad example set for what a man was supposed to do and how he was supposed to carry himself. Not necessarily from my father, but just there was a bunch of role models around me.
Like good or bad?
Both. I had both types of role models. There was a lot of guys around me that represented, being a player, having a bunch of females, selling drugs, having a bunch of money. It's like you didn't have a good enough status if you weren't doing those things. It's like, how many girls could you talk to? How much money could you make? How fast could you do it? How fast could you get the girls? Which obviously looks really good on the outside. And it's a terrible thing that like eats away at you after a while. From the outside, it looks amazing. You pull up in a Benz, you pull up in a foreign car, you have your jewelry, you have girls, but the way that you're getting these things and the things that you're doing to acquire that lifestyle, that
The status, right? Is that what are we calling it?
it takes a heavy toll on you after a while.
How long would you say you were, I guess, in that state of mind before you realized, like, hey, maybe it's not fulfilling?
A long time. I just grew up. I just recently grew up, I would say like 5 years ago. For a long time, I was still chasing that validation from the street, from the people that I knew, being around the type of guys that I knew. You weren't really doing anything. It wasn't enough to go to college. It wasn't enough to graduate high school and have a regular job or have a 401k. When the people that you know are making those types of amounts of money so fast and acquiring these things that takes people a long time. It takes people years to get to the point where they can pay off a house or pay off a supercar, and you're watching people do it in a matter of months. It's crazy to see. And it's the reality for a lot of people that I knew, and that was my reality. Watching everything happen and come so fast.
Right.
But on the other end, losing so much so fast. You would see somebody, we always say you would ball for 3 and be locked up for 7. So in a 10-year span, you might have 3 years of all this, acquiring all these things, getting these things that to other people looks like wealth, and you look good doing it. And on the other end, what you'd be losing is, your time with your family. You'd have money for 3 years. You'd do everything you want to do for 3 years and then go to prison for 7 years. So it never balanced out. It was just, it's too much loss for what you gain.
Yeah, that's crazy. I had never heard that. Like, what did you call it? Like a 3-7?
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
just
I didn't know that was a thing. Like that's intense. But I hear you though, because it's like we always hear to it's like fast cash, and it's like you can the faster you earn it, and the quicker you get to it,
The faster it goes.
the faster it goes, right? And it's like I would see things like this. Like I would see dope dealers or whatever, and I'm like, dang, that's nice. Look at him in a Ferrari or whatever. That's my dream car, by the way. Yeah. But I mean, it's not like at the end of the day, you see them or you hear about them a year or two later, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's locked up.
Yeah.
Like what happened to him? And then you're getting the chisme from everyone, right? You're getting the lowdown, and you're like,
the thing is, it's not just a financial thing. So in that lifestyle, there's a lot of things that you acquire that requires basically your soul. So you can acquire the money, which is just one part of it. The other thing that you get is a lot of attention. You get a lot of women, whether it's sexual things, also just having people depend and have faith in you to be able to make their situations happen.
what do you mean by that?
Being able to be financially stable very fast puts you in a situation where you're able to fund certain things. As you know, somebody that has to work for months or years to get into a certain position in their life, they can just come to you and call you and be like, hey, I need to hold 20 bands real fast. You know, it's a different lifestyle. Right. But what I'm trying to say is, aside from the financial part, you start to have people depend on you and have faith in you to for their accomplishment. And
sounds like a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. And you know, you start to depend on people as well, because it's an ongoing process. It's like if you don't have the things that you need to move forward, then everything is broken, because it's fast. Mm-hmm. It's too fast. So you start to become too used to things working very fast, and when it doesn't fall into place fast enough, you feel like it's all out of place.
What's good? How's your cafecito?
It's good. It's
Is
really
it good?
Yeah.
Okay. What was your breaking point when you knew your way wasn't working anymore?
My breaking point had to be when my son died. It brought something out of me that I was tired of feeling, that I had already felt when my dad passed away. So my dad passed away in 2009, and I feel like I had the greatest dad in the world. Like I could do anything with him. I would go everywhere with him. I met everybody he knew. He let me and my cousins and nephews and people like that just do whatever we wanted. He trusted us, you know, and we trusted him. We would tell him everything. So losing my dad put me in this state of mind where it's just like my world ended. And I almost gave up around that time. I was about 21 years old, and I just wanted to give up, like, on life. But I never had a thought of like suicide or anything like that. I just wanted to give up. Like I just stayed in bed, I popped pills, I drank, I smoked, and I just gave up on accomplishing things. And so fast forward and losing my son put me in a mode where I felt the same way I did when I lost my dad. And I was like, oh man, not again, because it was so hard to get up the first time. You know, and I finally got up. I was able to get up and put myself back together and pray and start to reach out to people that made me feel whole. And then I lost my son, and I was like, dang, okay, God, what do you, I don't get it, right? Because it's all for a reason. Nothing is for nothing. So I'm like confused. Okay, like, so what is this part for? I don't understand this part. And that was my breaking point, surrendering and just being obedient, completely obedient. Because I've always had like one foot in and one foot out with my obedience. I've never just wholeheartedly been like, you know what, this is what God says, this is what the word says, this is what I'm supposed to do. I've always tried to like tailor fit the word to my lifestyle and what I thought would work for me, and it never worked. It was an ongoing cycle of like a hamster in a wheel, where I was going as fast as I could in the same place.
Would you say when your dad passed away that how did you come to Christ? Did you come to Christ at that point in time? Or did you mention you were 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? Like,
yeah,
I think a lot of us can relate to that.
So I grew up in church. In our house, we had to go to church no matter what. We would party on Saturdays. My sister and people that were in our house would go to the club on Saturday, and it was mandatory. You had to wake up and go to church on Sunday. But
or
that
you don't go to
doesn't.
lunch. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, that too. Yeah,
Or
so
you don't
that was
go to brunch.
that was part of it, right? Like,
I'm kidding.
my dad would get a lot of extra people to come to church with us. So he had this van and he had a Suburban, and we would pick up like people in the hood, like different homeless people or drug addicts, and take them to church with us. And he would kind of bribe some of them, like, after church, we're gonna go get barbacoa tacos or whatever it might be.
I love that.
But I knew better. Like, I grew up knowing better. I have two moms, right? And I guess God knew that I was gonna be such a handful that I needed two mothers. So they're night and day. One of them is in prison right now, and the other one is like my prayer warrior. Like,
Right.
she's the best. Like, I call her for any and every type of situation that I'm in. There's times where I'm going through something in the middle of the night. There's been several times where she'll just call me at like 7 a.m, and she's like, "Hey, mijo, how you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm good." She's like, "What's going on? What happened last night?" And I'm like,
Right.
"Nothing. Why? What's up?" She's like, "You sure?" Like, God showed me a vision. Like, you were in darkness, and I'm like, "Wow!" Like, at 2 a.m, I was in a crazy.
Situation.
Oh yeah, and she just always knew.
I think we all know those situations.
Yeah, so I knew better. I've always known better, and I know what it's supposed to look like when you walk with God. But I've always been, hard-headed to where I was disobedient, and I would
Right.
try to tailor fit the word to how I lived.
Right. Would you say your disobedience caused you to get into more trouble, or to, you just mentioned it right now, like on the walk with God, like where you're supposed to be? Because you said you know what it feels like, right?
My disobedience has done both. It's taken me away from God and drawn me closer to Him. Because when you're in the midst of it, it's fun. It's, the devil presents things to you that look good. It's not like the devil's not going to present something to you that looks horrible. It's like he gives you things that looks like everything you've ever wanted.
Right.
So as I'm going through these situations that feel great and look great on the outside, it's just a horrible situation down the line. I remember when drinking used to be fun.
Yeah.
I used to drink with my sisters and my cousins and my friends. From a really young age, we started drinking. And it was great. It was fun. Every single time we drank, it was a party. We all enjoyed ourselves. We celebrated. And it was always one of those things where we would wake up the next day and it's like, oh man, like it was something funny, some dope memory was created while we were getting drunk or throwed. And you fast forward, right? And I remember a point in my life, which was not too long ago, it was a few years back. I was waking up and going to the store to buy me a bottle of liquor or a 24 pack on a regular day. That's how you know it's like, okay, this isn't fun anymore. Like, this is a problem now. I'm drinking. Everybody's at work. Everybody's going to school. Everybody's doing their thing. And I'm at the house getting drunk at 1 p.m.
Like it's not like a party or anything or family gathering. It's just like
It's a sickness. You actually come to a point where you get sick.
What'd you do when you realized that?
It got worse. It got really bad. Before it got better, it was terrible. It was to the point where I drank and did drugs just to be social, to do anything, to go to the kids' parties. I had to be on something in order to function.
Would you say this is after your dad's passing?
Oh yeah.
Earlier you had said like you would call your one of your moms because you knew you could rely on her and she's like a prayer warrior. What made you call her in those moments?
I really wouldn't at first. Like, I recently started reaching out to her a lot.
Yeah.
She always called me. It's just like she just knew. She has this outrageous discernment to where she just knows what's happening amongst me and my sisters. It's really weird. It's a crazy thing.
It's a gift.
Yeah, for sure. And
By the way, guys, we all have gifts. Some people have gift of prophecy and like dreams.
Yeah.
Others can speak tongues. Like, yeah, it's a gift. So pray for yours. It'll come. Like,
So speaking of gifts, like I've been like really blessed to be around people that had those spiritual gifts. Since I can remember, I've seen both sides
Yeah.
of prayer as far as like praying to God and people that did witchcraft. And I would see instant results from prayer to God or whatever, that I would see other people doing, whether they prayed to the Santa Muerte or did witchcraft, just black magic itself, right? And I've always known that both things were real. So growing up, it's like, okay, people would be like, well, how do you know God is real? And how do you know the devil is real? And how do you know evil is real? And I'm like, man, I've seen it. There's some of the evil things that I've seen people do that I wish I had never seen, because you can't unsee that. You can't like take that out of your mind. But the prayers and the instant answers that I've seen to where God revealed himself instantly, man, that's amazing. I sound crazy sometimes when I'm explaining it to my friends or people that I've known in the past, right? We'd be talking and they're like, man, how do you know God is real? And I'd be like, man, I've prayed and I've seen people pray, especially, one of my moms, right? And I'm just like, it's instant. He would move instantly. And they're like, man, it's so real that it seems fake.
Yeah. And that's the thing I love about him, because I get that question all the time too. Or like, how do you know God's real? Or like, how you said you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I was like that for a long time too. But because I've seen God and I've witnessed his miracles in my life personally, I'm like, oh, you can't tell me there's no God. Because like, there's no way I would have been able to like get out of that situation. Like, God is real. And then until you experience that, I feel like that's why there's a lot of doubters. Or maybe they have experienced it, but they attribute those blessings to something else, to a coincidence or just some random event. But it's really God. Well, no, I think I want to circle back when we were talking about your pivotal moment when you knew it wasn't working anymore. And then you talked about what you were doing, right?
Oh, okay.
And then Larry, you talked about losing your dad and how you remember that feeling, and you went back into the world and you had that 1 foot and 1 foot out, but then you lost you lost your baby.
I've definitely had my prodigal son moments, just going into the world trying to do my thing without God. And it's crazy. God always welcomes you back home. Mm-hmm. But I've done it several times.
Yeah, I think we all do though. Like, I mean, I do it. Amon, do you do that?
Yeah.
It's hard.
I think at one point I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, like a lukewarm. I did have a question. So you know how God is real, but also the other side is real too. And you've seen it before. Could you tell the audience a moment in time where you were in a situation and God wasn't there, or you felt like God wasn't there, and you
leaned a little bit more to the other side? Yeah.
Oh man, so I used to always kind of like
dibble dabble.
Yeah. So I used to gamble a lot, and there would be times where I would pray and I'd be like, God, let me hit. And I always hit. I would always hit. Whether it was shooting dice, going to somebody's house in the hood, shooting dice for a few $1,000s, or going to casino and playing slot machines. And I would always pray, and I'd be on the floor rolling dice, and I'd be like praying. I'd be like, Lord, let me hit this. And they'd be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, praying. And they're like, what? Like, I'm like, yeah, I pray all the time, like regardless of what it is. And I just remember coming to a point where I was losing so much that I was like, man, you know what? I'm going to stop asking God. And I literally told the devil, I was like, you know what? Like, I always ask God, and he hasn't been coming through for me. And I know that's not good, but, I'm be honest.
Yeah, no, and raw. This is raw and unfiltered.
And I told the devil, I was like, go ahead and look out for me one time. And I won.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And just to put this out there, right, I just want to talk about this moment because it doesn't feel right not talking about it.
Yeah.
But for anybody who knows what DMT is, right, it's
what is that? I don't know what that is.
DMT is a drug called dimethyltryptamine.
Okay.
That basically you're able to dream like you're in REM sleep while you're awake. So I do it, whatever, right? It lasts, about 5 minutes. And I like go into outer space And for anybody who's ever done this type of psychedelic, it's a lot like shrooms or ayahuasca.
Okay.
It's like in that family
I'm
of
going to
drug.
just say a psychedelic drug.
Yeah. So I really don't recommend them. A lot of people that want to tap into the spirit somehow kind of use that as a cheat code, but that's not the proper way to tap into the spirit.
Right.
It has its like some bad repercussions to
Sure.
it. So long story short, it's a 5-minute trip. I like blast off into outer space literally, and I see this ship, and I hear a voice, right? And it sounds like what I would imagine God sounds like. And it's like, you can end this all right now. And I'm like, what? And a button pops up. Literally like a button hovers up in front of me. I'm like, do I hit the button? And I'm looking
Is
at
that
this.
the in button?
I'm
Is
looking
that
at
what
this
that
huge.
interpretation was?
I'm looking at this huge ship, right? And it just happens to have a head on it. And it turns around and it looks at me. And it's the devil. And I'm like, I had just talked to you last time I was gambling. So I see him, he sees me, we look eye to eye, and I'm like in outer space somewhere, I don't know, in the galaxy. I'm like, man, I'm looking at the devil, and in that moment, I'm like, you have so little power that I could actually end you with this button. Which at the moment, I feel like it's God telling me. But in that exact moment, I realized, man, we actually give the devil the power that he has. Right? I feel like that red button was our mind. And there's a button in our mind that we can press at any moment to shut the devil off and terminate that thought. And I looked at the devil in the middle of this trip and I told him, like, man, I actually feel bad for you. I'm going to let you make it. And I didn't push the button.
That's crazy.
And he looks at me, he winks, and he flies off.
It's crazy that you had sympathy for him.
Yeah, that's why I say, like, we have so much more power than we understand over the devil. And a lot of people give him way too much credit. It's like something will happen to you, right? You might be having a bad day. You get in a car accident, or something happens with your kids at school, or just whatever in your relationship. And you're like, oh man, the devil's picking on me. And it's like, don't give him that much credit. It's just a bad sequence of events.
Right.
It's not always the devil. Like, plus, God has to order the devil to be able to attack you in a certain situation.
Yeah.
So God has to give authorization. So either way, God writes, he's the author.
That's good that you said that, though, because I feel like a lot of times when things do come at us, we do give him too much credit.
Oh, yeah.
And because we're not close to God and we don't know the power that's inside of us.
Right.
Because we have so much power inside of us, but we don't use it. Nobody, like, activates it because we just think that we're just like these, I don't know, little human beings, but we're not. Like, we're children of God. Like, you should, like,
No, of course.
know who you are and activate that. Like, use that power.
Well, even aside from the spirit, there's a large percentage of our brain that we don't actually use. So if we tapped into that, we accomplish a lot more.
Oh, 100%.
It's the same way with the spirit. There's a high percentage of the spirit that we don't tap into.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's why it's really, really important. I think we talked about this last time. It's like spending time with Christ and the Spirit so that way you can be filled.
Yeah.
And I think when you're living like that on a daily basis and you do go into those moments where the devil, maybe it is a devil, maybe it's just like you said, just something random happening. It's like you're going to address the situation or respond to the situation entirely differently.
But yeah, we're just distracted overall. Like, everything is distracting. So whether it's your everyday job, whether it's going out, whether you have a drug issue or a relationship issue, whatever it is, it's all a distraction that keeps you from realizing purpose.
So are you still 1 foot in, 1 foot out?
No, I feel like being able to communicate with my mom that's in prison has shifted my focus more to God. Going to church, not falling into the same traps that she fell into. And I think more than anything, not letting my kids see that type of reoccurring situation.
Right, kind of like that cycle.
Yeah.
Did you say you're not 1 foot in, not 1 foot out because of your kids now?
Definitely. I feel like my kids saved my life. It just gives me a different approach on how I do things. When in the past, it was more to survive. Like everything that I did was more of a survival situation. And tapping into the mindset that I'm at this point, it's more to live. You get what I'm saying? Like it's more to live my life and make sure that they live theirs and they're able to see me living and not surviving.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you watch people survive, and that's what you see a lot of in the hood. I don't think people wake up and say like, "Oh, I just want to wake up and be this horrible person and start selling dope and doing all these things." It's survival. You have to
Right.
figure out a way to get out of the place that you're in. And for a lot of people, surviving means doing things, whatever comes your way, whatever you can do to get out of square one.
Right.
But what a lot of people that don't realize is that in the process of trying to move out of square one, you move forward and it seems like you're going so far and then you go back and you're really just moving in place. And I only speak on that because I've experienced that like most of my life. And I'm blessed to actually be here. I'm not opposed to people who do that. I don't talk down on anybody who is still in the survival level in their life. I'm just so past that part. Like, I think I've advanced way beyond the survival part, the survival aspect in my life. And I'm ready to see what God has in store for me in the next level.
How did God redeem the parts of your story that felt the ugliest or the most shameful?
Because there's no testimony without the test. There's no story that's worth listening to or watching, whether it's a movie or a book, if there's no downfall and some type of glory. You know, I always tell people we're already redeemed, right? Like the way that I tell a lot of people that I know is God already redeemed your ticket, right? In other words, if it was a flight, all you got to do is get to the airport.
Yeah.
Your seat is already reserved for you. It already has your number. It's just getting to the airport. It's as simple as that. It's just as simple as accepting the ticket.
It's so easy. It sounds so easy, but a lot of us struggle with that so much.
Yeah.
And it's really just like accepting Christ as your Lord and Savior. And girl, you're golden. Or like, guy, you're golden. I didn't mean like girl, you're golden, but like you're golden. And I just thought of the golden ticket right now.
Well, it just goes back to distractions, and it's easy to not be obedient when you're distracted. It looks really good. It's there's a lifestyle that we all dream about that for the most part will not pertain to what God's purpose for us. Because how do we know what we want? And how do we know what we need? We don't actually know what we need. We think we know what we need, and we know what we want. You would have to have gotten through so many levels to understand what you need. Because what you need at 23 is not what you're going to need at 33 and 43 and so on.
Right.
So you go through life praying to God, please give me this. I'm praying for this. I'm praying for this. Instead of praying for discernment or knowledge or
Wisdom
and these things, we pray for things and
Material
things come and
things.
go. So once we actually get to the place of the level that we asked for, then we have to ask for something else because we've already passed that stage, and it's a never-ending cycle.
I just thought of like a lot of people are like, I need to be in a relationship to be fulfilled. Like, no, you need to heal. You need Jesus. Like, you don't need that.
Well,
or
won't
you
know.
want X car, right? You
Yeah.
don't need that car. You want that car. You don't need it.
The thing is, you won't know exactly what you need until you've had the experience.
Yeah.
And if you haven't experienced enough, then you definitely don't know what you need.
Can you give me an example of that?
There was a point where I thought I needed people. I thought I needed to have like a squad, a circle of guys around me, because I was in a certain type of lifestyle. I wanted to be protected in a certain type of way. I go to the club. I'm not going to go to the club on my own. If I'm at a house and I'm counting $100,000, I don't want to be there by myself. I need somebody watching me. Right. But once I was able to break past that level of thinking that I needed people to quote unquote like accomplish these dreams, I realized I didn't need anyone. I had to figure out other ways to make myself happy. And most of my happiest moments came from being with my kids
Yeah.
or my wife
Yeah.
or my sister or my mom. It sounds crazy, but it's like,
It's like those tiny family moments.
it's just the stuff that I used to take for granted. And also losing so many people. When you've lost the amounts of people that I've lost, I have friends doing 50 years in prison. I know people doing 30s and 20s back to back. When you lose like that, you start to realize what's really valuable. Because all of these people that I've lost, they all had all the things that people think they want. They had the Ferraris. They had the Lambos. They had all of those things. They had the biggest chains you could imagine, 30, 40 pointers. It was crazy to see them go from chasing that dream. And now their son grows up without a father.
Right.
And their daughter grows up without their father.
Right.
And I mean, I even know girls that are in prison doing 30s and 40s in federal prison. It's a crazy lifestyle, man. And,
Yeah.
you know, I just pray that God's able to protect some of the people that are still in those places and that they're able to find their breaking point
Right.
and realize when it's time to turn around, because sometimes you can go so deep to where you drown. There's no going back.
See, that's why I love Jesus, because like I feel like he always calls us back home. Like no matter how far you drift away, and you alluded to this earlier, like, you know, you go so far, but then it's like, hey, I think it's time to come back home. You can't drift too far from Christ. Like if you're his, and that's it.
Yeah, for most people that can understand that, that's very true. There is some people who never make it back though. They never find that point in their life where they felt like it was worth stopping what they were doing, because at the moment, everything that they're doing is everything they've ever wanted.
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain to somebody that, like, man, you need to turn your life around. God loves you. And they're like, they already feel loved in what they're doing.
Right.
They already feel honor and grace in what they're
Yeah.
doing at the moment.
Isn't there like a story in the Bible too where it talks about that? So where it's like, let me just go to the story where Christ was crucified. And like you had those two people on the cross, and you had one person that was like the murderer, and then the other person to where it's like he knew he was wrong, and so he asked Christ, like, forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other guy on the other end was like still like kind of, even though he was on the cross himself, he was still making fun of Christ for being on the cross and putting him to shame.
Yeah.
I do feel like there's people like that today too, where it's like you just mentioned it too, like you can be crucified all you want and go so far deep, but at the end of the day, if you're not Christ's child, you're not Christ's child. And that's probably who the people you're talking about. I don't know. And this could be up for debate, and I think it's tough for it. But I truly believe that there's people. I don't think everyone is saved.
No, definitely not.
I'm sorry to say that, but I don't.
Well, I was always told everyone's not going to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like the plain concept, right? Like everybody has a destination, but it's not able to make it.
Right.
Sometimes it gets rerouted and you have to find other means of how you're going to get to where your destination is. And unfortunately, there's people that just don't follow certain directions that are given to them, right?
Right.
Because the Bible is basically instructions.
Yeah, it's a
So-
huge guide for sure.
If it's the instructions on how to get to where we're going, and those are the instructions that we have to follow, you have to imagine how many people don't follow that. And that's okay. It's just not everybody's trying to get to that destination. And that's okay too, if that's what you're going for.
Yeah.
But as for me and my house,
We will serve
We
the
will
Lord.
serve the Lord. Amen.
so I just wanted to share this scripture in the Bible, right? Because I feel like I can give so many analogies and metaphors for what the word might be in my own words, but this is truth. So I can't sit here and not say this. As far as obedience, so in 2 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 14, it says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and forgive their sin and heal their land.
Amen. That's so good. I love that.
So I feel like the hardest part about that is humbling ourselves, because it's just easy to trust what we've been constantly a part of. Sometimes when you don't do it on your own, God's like, okay, let me humble you real quick. And he'll
Yeah.
just put you in a situation that you really don't want to deal with and make you humble.
Yeah.
If he wants you, you know. Sometimes we wonder like, oh man, why am I going through this? Some people probably like, God doesn't love me, or, you know, I'm probably not one of the chosen. I'm going through so much. And it's like, somebody might need to tell you that you're going through those things because you are chosen. God's not gonna put these heavy loads on you without knowing that you can carry them. You know, there is some people that look blessed. There is people that financially are set. In certain situations, they look like they have the token wife or the token husband or whatever it may be. They're actually like really torn, and that's not the case for everyone. But in a lot of situations, that's what it is. There's just this very deep emptiness that comes with not having God. I always tell people, God plus anything is everything.
I'm going to just circle back to what you just said about humbling. Like, when he humbles you, he humbles you. But in hindsight, I'm so happy. And I feel so blessed to have go through those situations, because I'm able to learn a lesson, or it's just made me stronger on the outside. But I mean, what do you do to your children, right? When they do something wrong and you have to correct them.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing with Christ.
Yeah.
You correct them just to get them back on the straight path, because you know if they continue going down whatever path they were just on, it's like they're just going to hurt themselves. And the same applies to us with Christ. So if you are being humbled, know that Christ loves you, and it's just to make you better and stronger.
For a long time though, I was so disobedient, man. I can think back to how many situations that I was in where I just knew it just didn't feel right. Even before I was like trying to understand the word deeper and making sure my family went to church and stuff like that with me. There was just so many times where being disobedient just felt better. And yeah, God checked me several times. And losing my son, it brought me to my knees. It was like there was an emptiness all over again, to where I had to get on my knees and ask God like to make me whole again, because there's no way to fill that void. You know, there's not even a word for a father that loses a son.
Yeah.
What do you call that? Like a wife that loses a husband, that's a widow, right?
Right.
What do you call a father that loses a son? You know, there's not a term for it, because it's really not supposed to happen.
That's tough though. Like I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I've been blessed enough to have really good friends, really good people around me. I always felt like I had good people around me, even when I was doing bad. I felt like I had the best batch of bad people that did good when I was doing bad. But moving forward, right, fast forward, with everything that I've been through, I thank God all the time that I was blessed to have the people that I have, right? And it's known as community, and I don't know if people understand that word, but it's communication and unity, right? So you don't heal if you don't speak about what you're going through. It's like a cancer that you don't cut off. And I've been fortunate to have people and good friends and a wife and sisters that just love me so much that they do their best to make sure that I don't stray too far away
Yeah.
from what God has for me. And what has helped me connect with believing in Christ and being obedient is a lot of guys that I met in a connect group at the church that I go to.
Yeah.
It's some of the best, they're dope, man. They're some of the best people I've ever met. Their stories are amazing. It's like the things that they've overcame is ridiculous. People don't survive to tell the stories that we're telling in that group. And it's super special. It's hard to find genuine people that are willing to put their heart on the line.
Yeah.
Especially men. It's like we're taught that we got to be hard. Like we're taught to not cry. We're taught that like it's whack when you show emotion or when you're too vulnerable. And it's crazy because that's how you heal. Can I share something with y'all? So this is just advice that I have for anybody that's dealing with almost anything that's happened in their past. Whether you're a person that has been obedient or a person that finds it really hard to be obedient and you're just super disobedient. I was going through a situation with my girl at the time. A good friend of mine, right? He told me, man, JC, like, you're tripping. Like, didn't this happen in the past? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, let me ask you something, primo. And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, when you throw trash away, do you go back to the trash can to see what you threw away? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? No. And he's like, exactly. In your life, whether it's a relationship or something that you've overcame, right? If it's trash, leave it in the trash. Don't go back and try to see what you threw away. It's in the trash for a reason.
I'm going to ask one question, or pivoting on the glory to God moments. What's the biggest blessing you would have missed if you didn't obey? That's when you point at Mon right there. I'm just kidding. No, seriously.
I think one of the biggest blessings I would have missed if I didn't obey would be being a husband and a father.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's having a family. I've always had a really large family, right? My family's huge, but like immediate family, like that was never really a thing for me. It's something I always wanted. I've always lived from house to house. I lived at everybody's house in my family for a weekend, right? Like I lived at everybody's house for a month. Like I lived in the streets for so long. I slept on like every D-boy's couch. For me, it was just like, man, I can't wait to like have something like established just to where I can have my family with me all the time. Right. You know, and see the same faces and have that joy. It's different than happiness. Yeah. It's just like, it's this feeling where like, man, even with everything that I've been through, like my world could be crumbling at the moment. I could just look over at my wife or my kids and just still feel that joy. I speak for every man when I say that there's a different type of joy that you get when you see that your family's happy.
How do you feel about that one? That's awesome, though. I love that for you guys.
I mean, again, like you said, we've gone through a lot. So it's a big blessing to just know that we've gone through so much to get to where we are now, only because we obeyed God and we put God as our foundation. So
yeah, I think that's really important to like a successful relationship or whatever it is that you're doing, whether it be whatever it is that you're pursuing or you're involved in,
job, business.
I think if you integrate Christ into whatever it is, like that thing will just blossom.
I want to point something out that my sister has always told me. She's always told me, like, okay, we're speaking about obedience, right? She's like, we're soldiers of God. And she literally told me like this. She's like, you know what, John? We're soldiers for God. Like people that are in the military, like actual soldiers, they don't just casually wake up and like throw on chanclas and throw on a fit and just go step out into war, right? They wake up, they get suited and booted. They lace their boots, they load their guns, they make sure their pistols and everything's on deck. Like they're ready. I believe that we have to have that same approach with the spiritual warfare that goes on constantly. It's a day-to-day battle with spiritual warfare that we deal with, whether it's relationships, whether it's your kids, whether it's whatever it is. There's layers of this warfare that we deal with. And we got to wake up every day and be suited and booted and ready to go to war.
Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand firm. Stand, therefore, having fastened on the belt of truth, and having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and as shoes for your feet, having put on the readiness given by the gospel of peace. In all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. praying at all times in the Spirit with all prayer and supplication. To that end, keep alert with all perseverance, making supplication for all the saints.
That's so good.
You know what I have to say is that, so I have boys, right? But I have one girl. And I feel like my daughter has been through so much stuff and she's so strong, right? I've never once heard her complain about anything. She just goes so hard and she motivates me so much to just like go head first. She just prays and she goes out there with her armor on and she just tackles the day, like, and she's just dope.
I love that.
And she actually like inspires me to not complain and just get out there and put on my armor. I'm very grateful for her.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She helped us last time set up, and she's so sweet. She's the sweetest thing ever, and it's super athletic.
Very.
Oh yeah.
Super athletic.
Yep.
And she's awesome.
How has obedience protected you, even when it didn't make sense at the time?
That's a good one.
Prayer. Prayer is a weapon. And you're always protected if you pray. I was taught to pray. Pray when it's good, pray when it's bad. I prayed at times that it made people like, why are you praying? There was things that we were doing that I would pray over it just to make sure God's hand was over us, even though we were doing stuff that we shouldn't be doing. So my answer to that would be prayer. Prayer is your weapon. Everything that's in this Bible, these are the bullets. You need to keep your weapons loaded. The more of this that you have, the more ammunition that you have.
Yeah.
I have a question to that, because I don't know if you guys will come across this with Atheist or whoever.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I hear it a lot, where it's like prayer doesn't work.
Uh-huh.
Or like, yeah, things
With
like
atheists
that. Like,
and stuff?
Yeah, what would your response be?
I know people that don't believe in God. They believe in God now. My response to an atheist would be this. So let's just say I'm wrong, right? And I prayed and I went to church and I read the Bible and I did all these things, and there was no heaven. Then I would just, I guess, like disintegrate into thin air. But if that atheist is wrong, then what?
Well, that's on them. No. Because I know where I'm going.
She's like, oh, well.
And my sister always says this, right?
Sorry, guys.
My sister's pretty dope, man. She's like one of my teachers. She always says, like, you don't know the pilot that's flying your plane, but you trust him.
Yeah.
And you know he's going to get you to where you're going. So how would you not trust in God?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't know that he's real. And it's like, well, you don't know the pilot that's flying the plane either.
Right.
But you trust him. So you're going to trust a person that you never even met. He's just controlling the plane.
Right.
Why wouldn't you trust God?
Or like even people to where it's like you don't have that personal relationship with Christ, you're obviously not going to know him. You're not going to know he exists. Like, let's say if I didn't know you or you, John, like I would hear of you, but like I'm not going to know your character or what you do for a living or like your, you know, if you have any integrity or any of that, or if like you are a family man, if you love one, if I don't have that personal one-on-one time with you.
Yeah.
Or if like I'm in a situation. So a lot of these people, I feel like they talk and they say these things, but because they've never put themselves in that situation to where they are with Christ.
Yeah. I just think that they just don't know. It's never been modeled for them. I think that with us knowing, we're the ones that have to show them love and give them knowledge. It's like spoon feeding a baby.
Right.
Just giving them little bits and pieces at a time.
Yeah.
And then they'll put it together. And when they're ready to get on that journey, then it'll be there for them. You know, God's waiting. Because when somebody has been able to see you be a certain way for such a certain amount of time, and then watch your transition, and they want to know, hey, how did you do that? Then you're able to give them that medicine. I can say this. My dad was super gangster. Like anybody that knew my dad knew, he was a real gangster, like Goodfellas gangster. And
it's kind of cool.
yeah, he was.
I don't know why.
You know, we always went to church, like I said, and I saw him fall out, and they put the blanket over him, and he spoke in tongues, and they were speaking in tongues, and I was like, I know my dad's not acting. He's too gangster to fall on the ground like that. And that's when I really knew it was real.
Yeah.
A story that I don't want to not share with y'all is my dad had gotten stabbed, right? And they told him that he wasn't going to be able to walk. And he goes to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, Mr. Cervantes, you're never going to be able to walk again. Fast forward, they like give him a walker, like to try to, practice walking or whatever. They even gave him a wheelchair and stuff like that. And he goes to church one Sunday. He's in the very back row, and the pastor is like, man, God just gave me a vision that somebody's in here that can't walk. And my dad's like, it's me. He's trying to raise his hands, but you can't see him because he's laying down behind the chairs. And the pastor comes and he tells him, like, get up and walk. And he gets up and he starts walking. Fast forward, my dad goes to the hospital, and the doctor's like, Raymond, like, he walks in.
Yeah.
It's like you're not supposed to be walking, like sit down.
What are you doing?
And the doctor's like, man, I don't know who you pray to, but whoever he is, he's amazing.
Yeah. God is so good.
And
See,
that's a real life
testimony
of, against all odds. Like when God says yes, it's yes.
Mm-hmm. Like he's a loving father. Like he's so good. That's such a good testimony though. I like love hearing stories like that and how God just shows up for us and his children.
But again, it's with prayer. Like prayer is your weapon, and make sure you keep your bullets loaded.
Prayers work. Like
prayers work. They do. For anyone that's listening right now, like going through something, struggling with their obedience, what do you want them to take from your story?
If you can take anything from me, just understand that I'm not gonna lie to you to make myself look like extra spiritual or churchy or anything like that. The information that I'm giving you is valid. It's worked for me and everyone that's around me, and God will not fail you. Your mother will fail you, may fail you. Your father will and may fail you. Even your kids, man, your best friends, your wife, your fiance, your husband. But God will never fail you.
yeah.
God's always there. Even when you're not ready to receive him, he still has his hand over you. Yeah. And just don't forget that there's somebody up there watching you, trying to make sure that you get to where you're going.
Yeah.
And somebody that loves you unconditionally. It's a different type of love. It's like God's love is the way we love our kids. There's nothing that child can do to make you stop loving them. Mm-hmm. That's how the love of God is for us.
Yeah.
No matter what you've done that you feel like, oh man, this is too dark, this is too much to turn back, that's nothing to God.
Yeah.
God's like, try me. God's like, try me. I got you. I'm going to forgive you for that one.
That's so good.
That's so really good.
Well, thank you for sharing, Jon. That was awesome.
Yeah, of course. Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks for being our first guest here.
Yeah, for sure.
We look forward to having you on more sessions.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that walking without God, it's like walking in the darkness. Like you can't see anything. You can't see what's ahead of you. You can't see what's around you. And once you have that relationship with God, there's this light that reveals itself, and you're just able to see things that were behind you, in front of you, and all around you in a different way. The more that you seek him, the more he becomes real. Like realer than the person that's sitting next to you. You're able to go to him on a daily basis. I encourage you to try it. Like if you've never tried it, just try it. You've tried everything else. Like why not give God a try?
I think that's a good question for our audience, though, to be honest. It's a good takeaway. So if you don't believe in him yet, or if you do, or if you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, like try talking to him every single day this week.
I feel like a crazy person. I'm always talking to God.
Yeah, same. No, same. I'm always talking to him. But I think at the very beginning, it's kind of hard to where you're like, especially if you're a newbie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you kind of feel a
Even
little
like when
silly,
somebody's
I guess.
tripping, like I'll be like, God, like usually I'll pop off and I'm like, oh man, God, like help the dude right
Yep.
here. He's crazy.
Yes. Just like random situations. Yeah.
I do have a question. I want to know, or we want to know, and leave it in the comments or send us some fan mail. Is it harder to obey God when no one is watching or when everyone is watching?
It's a really good question.
Yeah.
I'm asking myself that right now.
I think we all need to ask ourselves that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hey,
leave it in the comments. Send
thanks,
us some
guys.
fan mail.
We have another special guest next week.
Yeah, we do.
So excited for this one.
That one's going to be good.
What are we talking about?
Transformation.
And so we are ending it with a bang. We have a really special guest for you guys next week. You're going to be really excited. We'll send you some promos, some teasers so you can see it. We love you guys.
See you on the next one. If today's episode spoke to you, we'd love for you to share it. Post it, text it, send it to your group chat. Someone else might need this reminder too. We're so honored to do life and faith with y'all. Until next time, keep your heart open, your cafecito warm, and your hope alive.